Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Ronaldo for Pogba, story from Italy. Manchester United wants a replacement for Matic. Koundé on a cheap deal. Ramos not staying at Manchester United. Ramos not staying at Real Madrid. And I just went live on Twitch by mistake, so apologies for that. It's all going wrong this morning at the end of the day. It's a little bit like that. Lots going wrong, but we're live now. I hope everyone's doing okay. I did go live on Twitch. I've just realised that. So yeah, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. Lots to get involved in this morning. Ollie's press conference coming up at lunchtime as well. Obviously, a big game against AC Milan. We did the preview yesterday, so lots and lots to get involved with. Let's start off with this first story then that's coming in. Lots to get through this morning. One of the most interesting things is the story about Nemanja Matic for me. Also, a ridiculous thing that I saw this morning. A tweet that Simon Stone put out, not his point, but he put the tweet out on an observation that Manchester United are well placed to be successful over the next few years, which is bloody ridiculous. Anyway, a move back to Manchester United for Cristiano Ronaldo is the most probable track for him, only behind staying at Juventus. If this transfer took place, the most probable hypothesis would be a swap deal involving Paul Pogba. This is coming from Tuttosport via Sport Witness. So an Italian outlet via Sport Witness talking about Manchester United bringing Cristiano Ronaldo back. This is the most likely thing to happen if he does decide to leave Juventus. However, I personally feel that the most likely thing is that he's going to stay at Juventus. But look, I've probably not thought about this much because there's so much other stuff going on at the moment. This Haaland story, which is a nonsense. The centre-backs, which we're going to talk about. Koundé, there's a story about him and Ben White again, which is unfortunate, of course. But look, it's coming from Italian outlets. I think there is a bit of unrest in Italy at the moment around what Cristiano Ronaldo is going to do. Has Cristiano Ronaldo been a flop at Juventus? Only an idiot would say that. He's not been a flop at Juventus at all. He's been a revelation at Juventus. Unfortunately, the problem Italian football has is they cannot make that step to dominating European football because PSG, Bayern Munich and arguably Liverpool and Manchester City are just on a different level to anything La Liga or Serie A can offer at the moment. And even Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, the two greatest players we've had in my lifetime, are powerless to stop that because the squads of these teams, especially Man City, PSG and Bayern Munich, are just on a different level. So, but Juventus, the story at Juventus has not been the story that Ronaldo wants. Winning Serie A and top goal scorer in Italy is not what Cristiano Ronaldo wants to do. He wants to win Champions League. So he may well look to go. And what they're saying in Italy is if he's going to go, the most probable place for him to go would be Manchester United, with Paul Pogba coming the other way because Juventus want Paul Pogba. And look, maybe this is coming. And look, I can see him in the live comments saying, "Oh, not a chance, we can't do this deal." But maybe this is what Juventus are setting in place. They've got a very close relationship with Mino Raiola. Mino Raiola wants Paul Pogba to have options out of Manchester United this summer. Juventus has always been mentioned as an option out of Italy. I just wonder whether Paul Pogba would want to go to Juventus with Cristiano Ronaldo not being there. But I don't think this is highly likely, but I don't think it's as impossible. I don't think it's improbable. I don't think that it can't be done. I just don't know whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would want to manage Cristiano Ronaldo. Some people would say he's too big of a player for Ole to manage, but I actually think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer manages big stars quite well. I do. I think he does. I think when you look at Bruno Fernandes, you look at Marcus Rashford, you look at Harry Maguire, who's an £80 million centre-back, whether he should be or he shouldn't be. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is very good at dealing with his stars. Some would say he holds them up higher than anybody does. So I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could manage Cristiano Ronaldo fine. He would know Cristiano Ronaldo as well because obviously they were players together at United for a few years. So, albeit towards the end of Ole's last stage. So yeah, I definitely think that something could happen there. But whether it will or not, we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, the sub counter is back, by the way. Top right hand corner, that should move as people subscribe now. Bottom right hand corner to do that, and it should be moving. The club is becoming a joke if it buys a 36-year-old star, says Justin Matthew. Well, that's down to you to have a decision about Justin. I want to move on, but just very quickly, if you're asking, I said this on social media last night, so it's not breaking news. If Manchester United do want to bring Cristiano Ronaldo back to Manchester United for Paul Pogba, who wants to leave, then I would do that deal. What you've got, the most important thing for me in this is that Manchester United, if Paul Pogba wants to leave Manchester United, you've got to get the best out of that deal. And if it's £40 million from Real Madrid or it's Cristiano Ronaldo from Juventus, I'm going to take Ronaldo. I think it's so important with our board, who are incompetent, that taking money for a player that you sell isn't an efficient use of our time. We can't sell Pogba, Lingard, a goalkeeper, and then buy a centre-back, a CDM, a right winger and a striker. We can't do those 7 deals. And on top of that, you've got all the stuff that needs to happen with Matic, Mata, Dalot. It's ideal if you're selling a player that you get something back. That's why I'd love to see us do something with Lingard and Rice. That's why if Pogba decides he's going to go, I would like a player in return, whether that's a Real Madrid player or a Juventus player, because you're getting 2 for 1 there. You're doing 2 things on 1 deal. I think that's really important. Overplaying his stars does not equate to good management. Ollie will run a 36-year-old Ronaldo into the ground and into retirement, says Julian S. And welcome to the Members Club, Cam O'Connor. Thank you very much for joining. The sub count is working. It just it does work. I've seen it work, so there we go. In fact, it does work because it's just updated there live on screen. So there we go. We don't need Ronaldo. Give us Haaland, Sancho, CDM and a centre-back, 4 players and we're set. Abel's woken up pissed, I think. Mike John, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. We're not getting Erling Haaland. If you think we're getting Erling Haaland, then you are foolish. It's not going to happen. There you go. Simple as that. But don't let somebody like me not sell your dreams. Ronaldo will be a good test for our defence, unlike your current strike force. Zane, you're just doing it on purpose. And thanks for the super chat there from Cam O'Connor. So yeah, Ronaldo for Pogba. Now the story I really want to get into here, and I just need to find where it's coming from. Well, first of all, I'll read you this out. This is really interesting. So this is a quote from Simon Stone, and it's from the Football Observatory, who say, based on players' age, length of stay and contract duration, the Football Observatory say that Manchester United has got the most sustainable squad in the Big 5 leagues. Manchester United fans can thus be confident in ability of team to qualify without too much difficulty for the Champions League group stage over the next seasons and eventually lift the Premier League again. This is based on players' age, length of stay and contract duration. Oh my God. Stats and maths teachers who get involved in football have just taken us to a new depth. Manchester United fans can be confident that over the next few years we're consistently going to qualify for the Champions League and eventually lift the Premier League because of players' age, length of stay and contract duration. Have you ever heard such a big load of crap in all your life? So Manchester United's squad across the top 5 leagues is the best in Europe to succeed and win a trophy over the next 5 years. Is this if everyone goes into fucking lockdown and never buys a player? What a load of shit. I tell you what, I'm going to go and find the Football Observatory, and can they read my, am I going to be a millionaire in the next 5 years as well if I stay inside and live off baked beans and save every bit of money I've got? I mean, look, I don't mind stats. I think in some ways they're not terrible at times, but I think that is just ridiculous. Manchester United fans should sleep easy because we're going to qualify for the Champions League for the next few years and eventually we'll win the league because of the age and contract length of our players. I don't care if we buy Sergio Ramos and he's 35, if we buy Koulibaly and he's 30, if we buy Cristiano Ronaldo and he's 36. They will make us have more chance of winning a title than some of the players that we've got who are 23, 24 and 25. As I've said before, I'm not saying our players are crap, but you can't polish a turd no matter how old it is. So we do not have if you're telling me that squad that we've got at the moment is going to grow into a Premier League winning side, I think you're Jack heading off to the bloody market with your beans, but this ain't going to grow into a beanstalk. There is going to be a big giant that's going to crush us, and that's going to be Manchester City. It will not be a bloody giant that we go and take his pot of gold from. It won't happen. So I don't know what people think about that, but I'm stunned on another level that somebody would write an article basically saying that Manchester United are going to be successful in the future based on our squad. And I will be positive, One Track Minds, but the positivity that, look, to be honest with you, we should write an article. All 6,000 of us should write an article on what Manchester United need to do to be successful. And not one of you will write down and go, Well, if you look at the age of Dan James and Fred and Scott McTominay and Lindelof and Harry Maguire and Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford, if you look at their ages, in the next 4 years, we're going to win the league. But how does that even work? It's the most... the person who wrote this must be walking down Lollipop Lane and it's raining bloody pear drops from the candy floss clouds, and the driveways of these lovely houses, which are made out of gingerbread, are made out of hobnobs. I mean, knobs is the word. It's just ridiculous. How can you look at a squad and say that that's going to win the league in 5 years based on everyone else's squad? Chelsea will spend money. Man City will spend money. Bayern Munich will spend money. Their squad today will look nothing like it does in 5 years' time. Football doesn't stand still. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. Baby, I'm amazed. What are the chances that Varane will sign, Manchester United will sign Varane? In my opinion, I think Maguire and Varane partnership would win us the league, says Josh. Well, I think we need more than just a centre-back. We're not one player away. We'll talk about that, though. Ronnie is a stage where he needs support around him. If our strikers can't get service, it's even more difficult for Ronaldo to thrive, says Dan. If Ronaldo wants to come to United, Pogba would definitely want to stay, says Nana. I don't think we could do both, to be honest. Mark, do you think John McGinn would have an impact on our team, says Cam O'Connor? Well, to be honest, I don't massively rate John McGinn as a top 4 player, but I think he's probably better than Fred. And I know that's controversial to say that, but I would say that. But going back to the point about Varane, there was a story today. Manchester Evening News were talking about a story in The Sun, so take it with a pinch of salt because it's The Sun, saying that Manchester United could get Koundé for 50 million. However, their comment on the story is that do not rule out Koundé to Manchester United, but Manchester Evening News understands that Varane, Torres and Ben White are favoured options. Well, that's scary, isn't it? But it goes back to your super chat, really, that I mean, Ben White on a short list makes me want to cry. Pau Torres is I would say that Pau Torres, there's nothing wrong with signing Pau Torres, but the problem is I think he's a 4th or 5th option. A bit like Van Gaal used to say, if you want to be successful, you need to get your first options, not your 6th or 7th. And I think that Pau Torres is down the list. Varane would be the ideal one. Right, Ricky, I tell you, Mark, this squad... Sorry, is this DK? Rick, this is Ricky, okay. I tell you what, Mark, this squad isn't used properly. I can win you the league with this squad. I'll tell you, Mark. And Fleck. And maybe Ricky wrote that article, I don't know, but absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance at all. This is an interesting quote I wanted to bring you. It's from Laurie Whitwell, who is another journalist who works for The Athletic and is the Manchester United correspondent. So you always have to look at what they're saying and think about... Look, I think what you got to remember is we all know journalists who are in the press conference, and therefore we know journalists who probably get information from the club. Just because they get information from the club doesn't mean that they're talking the truth. And what I mean by that is they may not be getting the information from the club. They may well be getting the information from the club, but the information the club are putting out may be being put out for a reason. You know what I mean? Spin that wheel. Spin is important in any area of the media, especially in football. So just because somebody's saying something and they might have got it from the club doesn't mean it's true. It might be in the club's interest that everyone thinks we're after Erling Haaland because it's hype. But anyway, this is from Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic, and he said Manchester United would ultimately like to invest in a replacement for Nemanja Matic. They want a player who has got Matic's characteristics, defensive rigour with perhaps more mobility. I mean, look, that is encouraging that Manchester United want to bring in what is effectively a centre defensive midfielder. And look, Matic's characteristics, there's nothing wrong with Matic's characteristics when you look at a good Nemanja Matic of last season. I think when you look at Matic's characteristics at the moment, I know a builder's yard that can deliver a bag of cement and that will do a better job. And as for they would like somebody with more mobility, I think that, you know, I've seen lame cows with more mobility than Matic this season. And I know that's, I always like to bring a bit of humour in. I actually do like Matic, but I'm really disappointed with Matic this season. I'd sort of written Matic off 18 months ago. I thought Matic was done, and then about a year ago he played really well, and into the summer he played really well, and I was like, you know what, when you've got Matic and Pogba and Bruno, if you bring somebody else in, you've got somebody who can sort of learn under Matic. And he's retired from international duty, and it's like he retired from club football as well at the same time. He's been so bad this season, Matic, disappointingly bad. So I think he isn't very mobile. I think he is about as useful as a bag of cement at the moment, and I hope that he proves me wrong wrong again and comes back and has another few months that are really important. Because I think if Matic had just had the season he'd had last year, we'd be in a far better position, because Matic is the only player you can play Matic and then play Pogba and give him licence to get forward. I think you could play Matic and Van der Beek, but Matic has not played like a CDM this season, so we do need a CDM. My only problem about that statement is Manchester United would like a CDM, and like is a bit like, you know, I would like a holiday in Ibiza this summer. I'm not going to do it. And I know I'm not going to do it, but I'd like one. So that's what worries me about the like thing, is Manchester United would like a CDM. Doesn't mean they're going to get one. And, you know, is this information that's being put out there to appease fans again? Manchester United would like a director of football. We've heard that for the last 5 years. What did we end up with? Somebody from inside the club. Manchester United would like a CDM. Keep that going for a couple of years. What do we end up with? Scott McTominay being coached by Michael Carrick and Darren Fletcher to be a CDM when he never will be. So we don't know what like means, but really it shouldn't be like. It would Manchester United know they need and go and get one, as far as I'm concerned. That's absolutely essential. Yes, Red Devils, we all know I went live on Twitch. Please smash a like on the video, by the way, and the subscribe account does actually work now. So it's updated again there. Perfect. Just have to flick the browser to do it. Lemar from Leipzig at CDM. Donny next to him, says Alex Jones. A lot of people do like the lad from Leipzig. Robbie Savage's son at CDM, says Jones. Yeah, he's nowhere near ready, mate. I mean, he's nowhere near ready. I hope he's going to be good enough, Charlie, but he's not ready to go into the first team. No way. He's barely started into the under-23s, so he's been more playing for the under-18s, so nowhere near ready. And James Garner's playing first-team football in the Championships at Forest, but not ready. They're not ready, so we need to go and buy somebody without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. The only reason I want Ben White, okay, Cade, you've exposed yourself here. I think the only reason you want Ben White is because he has my surname and would be cool to have it on a Man United shirt. There you go. I predicted that. Mark, Matic was playing last year with Pogba beside him and had a run of games this year. He hasn't been in the squad really underused and played with sub-quality players, Fred and McTominay. Yeah, Niall, I mean, look, I disagree with that, actually. I think I've seen enough of Matic this season to say that he's nowhere near where he was last year. And for some reason, Nemanja Matic's career at Manchester United has been very much like this. He can have periods of good play and then he'll disappear for about 8 months as well. And unfortunately, we're going through this now. He's already hinting at a move to Benfica. I think that it's time for Matic to go. So, in all honesty, says Shaquille, if we invest in all 4 positions this transfer window, our squad could do without massive investment in the next few years. And would you be England's soccer aid manager, says David Page. I would love to be, but I wouldn't bloody get asked, would I? They wouldn't ask me. Just a little bit of interest, just talking about centre-backs as well. Sergio Ramos talking after Real Madrid's game last night, saying that he still hasn't decided on his future. They haven't sorted out what's going to happen at Real Madrid. There has never been any interest from Manchester United in Sergio Ramos over this last few months, and this has been verified by Fabrizio Romano. It's very much about trying to sort a deal out with Real Madrid. What we can say is that we have been in this situation before with Sergio Ramos, where he's going to leave Real Madrid and then he ends up staying. I actually hope that Sergio Ramos does stay at Real Madrid. There's a lot of uncertainty about what's going on at Real Madrid at the moment. And obviously, people talking about Varane coming to Manchester United and Manchester United being admirers of Varane. I'm fearful because I can already see what's going to happen at Manchester United. We want Varane, first choice. We don't get him. We get Ben White or we get Pau Torres. They come into the club, we get excited. Oh, we've bought a centre-back. But ultimately, you know Magaluf are going to start next season because it's going to be, well, we've brought this centre-back in, but you know they're not in the in-club at the moment, so I don't have to treat them well. I'm going to stick with Lindelof and Maguire. They're training well at the moment, and they don't get played, and you go into next season with the same thing. I don't want to go into next season with Maguire and Lindelof at centre-back, but I don't think Manchester United are going to get the quality of centre-back that we need. Is it true? Salah Ahmed says, is it true in reports that Koundé could be available for 50 million? If that is true, then that should be a deal that would be all over. Says, hope it's true, says Salah Ahmed. Well, it's coming from the Sun, Salah, so I don't think we should take too much notice of it. Happy birthday to my best mate, Doug. All he wants is a Pratt shout out, says Mike John. Shout out to Doug. You're a prat and have a happy birthday. But yeah, Pogba needs to stay, says Irvin. And Mark, the press are full of Milenkovic this morning. They are, but we spoke about Milenkovic yesterday, and what's probably happening there is continued Italian reports who are actually linking him to AC Milan now, and slow sports news in the UK. The UK tends to be quite slow at picking up the reports from Europe. And as yesterday we were talking about Milenkovic because of Italian reports, the UK press will now be talking about it because they're slow. There are more Italian reports around Nikola Milenkovic in the last 24 hours since we last did a morning show. There are some more reports, but effectively what those reports relate to are AC Milan being interested in him as well. I think he will move. I don't personally think Manchester United are in for Milenkovic. I think it's his agent using our name, but we will see. Has Kabak played more game minutes than Donny, says William. He can't be far off. He can't be far off. And you know what? Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, by the way. I was going to do it towards the end, but big shout out. Happy birthday. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Lived in Ireland for 3.5 years. Absolutely loved it. And can't wait to get back there. So I hope you have a good day, whatever you're doing. But Kabak, I mean, it's interesting. We spoke about Kabak on this channel. And it just shows you how some people were a little bit like, he's not quick enough, he's not the right sort of centre-back. And actually, I think he looks... I mean, whether he'll end up being a Liverpool first-choice centre-back when they get them all back, I don't know. But he's looked all right, hasn't he? Mark, let's say in a dream scenario, we get Haaland, Sancho, Rice and Koundé. Are we winning league next year, in your opinion? Pep, I fear, is way ahead regardless of our buys. No, I don't think we would win the league with those 4 players, Chinmay, which shows you the enormity of our job. And that's ridiculous, isn't it? You buy Haaland, Sancho, Rice and Koundé, and I'm saying we still won't win the league. Because those players would need to gel. Would Ali start all of those players, or would 2 of them probably be on the bench? And Manchester City have an amazing squad. They have an amazing squad. In fact, I've just put a video up on That's Football. I've dropped the link in the video description for you. I'll push you there in the end because I want you to go and have a watch of it and see what you think. And it's basically entitled Man City are ruining football. And that really answers that question for you about why they're ruining football. Look, it's not about jealousy about Manchester City. It's just about what they've done. And it's not about Pep. It's not about players. It's about their owners. These owners who just decided we want to have the best football club in the world. Who are we going to buy? They're not Man City fans. It's like, should we buy them? Should we buy them? Should we buy Everton? Should we buy Newcastle, Villa? Oh, you get a free stadium with Man City. Buy them. Let's buy them. And then over 12, 13 years, they've won 5 titles. They might win the Champions League. They might win a historic quadruple and kill what we achieved in 1999. All because of rich owners who just went, quite fancy that club. Let's just keep buying and buying and buying and buying. And that's what Manchester United are up against. And unfortunately, you've got these owners who just have, in my opinion, ruined football because they've proven that if you've got enough money, you can come into a sport and completely rewrite history. And then you've got our owners who have proven that you can come into a sport and completely destroy a club. So you've got a Man City owners who come in and just go, well, we're not Man City fans, but you'll do. We just want to prove that we can, rewrite history with our money. And then you've got Manchester United owners who come in and go, hi, we just want to prove that you can destroy an institution by taking money out of it. And, unfortunately, we got the wrong ones, didn't we? McFred's good until they face proper CDMs, then they look average, says Nadia. So we spoke about Ronaldo, we spoke about Koundé, we spoke about Matic, we spoke about Ramos. Now, there was another story I wanted to bring you. Let's have a quick look here. Nikola Milenkovic has offers from both Italy and abroad, but most of the impressive ones come from Manchester United, who could make a bid of around 35 million euros. That's coming from Republica. So I don't believe this story. And look, there's so much out there at the moment that it's hard to know what to believe, but I don't believe that story for 1 minute. I really don't. I think Manchester United are being used here, and I don't think we'll go for Milenkovic. The reason I don't think we'll go for Milenkovic, and I'm sure many of you have taken a look at him yourself, I've been aware of this lad for probably back in the Mourinho days. I remember him when he was being linked to us when he was like 20. So, because people used to say, you're talking about Milinkovic-Savic, and I used to say, no, Milenkovic. He plays for Fiorentina. And so I've known about him for a while, and I'm sure many of you who've watched the channel know him, or if you watch Italian football. There's no doubt he's a good player, but I just don't see two things, really. I just don't see how he fits with Harry Maguire, and I don't think he would get picked over Victor Lindelof either. I think he'd be brought in as a sort of bench option in many ways, because he doesn't bring anything that complements Harry Maguire. At the end of the day, if you play Milinkovic and Harry Maguire, you end up with two good players in the air who are quite good on the ball, who are quite physical but not particularly quick. They don't complement each other. And then if you play Milenkovic with Lindelof, you've basically got Maguire and Lindelof anyway. So it's not the right type of centre-back for Manchester United to go for, as far as I'm concerned. Just a couple of updates from Bleacher Report as well. Dean Jones on there. He's had a couple of updates. He says that as far as Ed Woodward and the co are concerned, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done more than enough to earn a longer stay as manager of Manchester United. This is via MUFC MPB. I'll just give him a shout out on Twitter. So as far as Ed Woodward and co are concerned, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done more than enough to earn a longer stay as Manchester United manager. I mean, that statement is inflammatory. Wherever it's come from, it's very inflammatory because I, as somebody says, give Ole till May, I'm irritated by that, and I'm backing Ole. I know some of you don't back Ole, so imagine if that irritates me, it's going to make you lot fuming that there is that statement there from somewhere saying that Woodward and co feel that Ole's done more than enough to deserve a longer stay at Manchester United. Well, I would say, as somebody who is backing Ole till May, that is a load of shite. Like, Ole's done more than enough to deserve a new contract at Manchester United. No, he hasn't. He absolutely hasn't, because the season's not finished. How can you say he's done more than enough? And this is the problem I believe exists in Manchester United. They look at spreadsheets and they look at friendships more than they look at what's going on in the world of football. Manchester City, how can that even be out there that Manchester United feels Solskjaer has done more than enough to deserve a new contract at Manchester United, when Manchester City may be about to eclipse our biggest ever achievement? How are those two things not in correlation? Seriously, how can that? And look, this might not even be from the club. This could just be a journalist writing something, or it could be from inside information in the club. I don't know. But let's pretend for a moment that it actually is true that Woodward and co feel that Solskjaer has done more than enough to deserve a long-term contract. And yet, in the same city, a club could be about to eclipse our biggest ever achievement, which is the treble. But our current manager's done more than enough. Well, look, I think the honest answer is, if Solskjaer gets top four, he deserves a new contract. But I don't think. Let's not start dolloping. Let's not start making a trifle. Let's not put jelly, custard, and cream and hundreds and thousands on it and a few cherries. We're basically just the jelly. It's a bit wobbly. Like, it's, if we get top four, he gets a new contract. But let's not try and say he's solved world peace or anything like that. We've not had a great. This is not a great season by Manchester United's standards at all. We've not won anything. We might not win anything, and we could still finish third or fourth. So it's enough to give him another contract, but to be more than happy with it, I'm sorry, the football is still glaringly an area that we need to improve on in relation to how we play football. There are still major concerns about some of the team selections and some of the lack of substitutions and tactical changes in game. And of course, the biggest concern is, how close are we actually to being a title-winning side? Because I personally think if we don't invest in the summer, we're still bloody miles off. So, and also, this is also from the same journalist via MUFC MPB. Manchester United top officials will discuss their summer transfer targets this week, and this moment is also being used to extend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's contract and raise his pay by around $2 million a year. Well, we know about the contract. I don't want to dwell on the contract any more than that. We do know about the contract, of course, but what we don't know about is, and this is the second time I've heard this now, so you've got to start taking it with a little bit of truth in it potentially, is that Manchester United are going to sit down and talk about their transfer targets in the international break. The international break takes place at the end of March. Top clubs don't sit down and decide on their transfer targets at the end of March. And I had people saying to me last night, well, surely that's plenty of time to do it. And I'm like, look, if you don't understand football, or you choose not to understand football to that depth, that's fine. If you just watch your matches and you listen to press conferences and you just take football at a certain level, that's absolutely fine. But if you actually take your football interest to a deeper level, top clubs don't sit down talking about transfer targets at the end of March for the coming summer. Top clubs are identifying their top transfer targets at Christmas time. Some of them are even doing it in November, October. Some of them are even doing it the previous summer. But you don't sit there at the end of March and have a chat with a cup of tea and a packet of hobnobs and discuss what transfer targets you might want to have. Because if you do that, David Alaba's already gone, Upamecano's already gone. Factually, they're already gone. Alaba's leaving Bayern Munich. He's probably going to Real Madrid. Upamecano, we already know, is going to Bayern Munich. So those deals have been done, dusted and sealed and worked on before Christmas to get that done. And who knows? Koundé might be done. Koulibaly might be done. Varane's new contract at Real Madrid might be done. You can't sit down at the end of March and start writing out what your list is. It's too late. It is too late. And the reason I know it's too late is because when we were going to buy Griezmann all those years ago, that deal had been being worked on from November. From November, we'd been working on that Griezmann deal. And yes, it fell apart in the June, but we thought we were going to get him, and we didn't. He led us up the garden path to a certain extent. But competent clubs, big clubs, are working on their deals way before the end of March. And it just feels like Manchester United, again, it's just incompetence by committee. If Solskjaer gets a new contract, would you think that would be good for us, says Sean Falvey? Well, I don't know whether it's going to be good for us. I'm not going to sit here and say that giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be a new contract's good for Manchester United. What I will say is if we get top 4, he must be given a new contract, because whether you agree with it or not, well, it's not that he must be. My opinion doesn't matter, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not the board of Manchester United. You're not the board of Manchester United. And what you've got to deal with is realism and what you would do. Now, I can tell you what I would do, but in some ways it's irrelevant, and the same with you. What I know Manchester United will do is, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets top 4, he will get a contract, because if you look at what they've done since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, they only sack managers when top 4's gone. So David Moyes, as soon as top 4 was gone in that first season, you're gone in March, wasn't it? Van Gaal, when he didn't get top 4, even though he won an FA Cup, he won the FA Cup, but you're still sacked. I mean, some people feel that's really harsh. I think in the history of the last 8 years, it probably was very harsh, because winning trophies isn't even a given at United anymore. And Mourinho got sacked because by Christmas he'd lost the dressing room and we were miles off top 4 and it was only going to get worse. So you will not be sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if he gets top 4. And I feel, as I said after that West Ham game, top 4's done now. So he will get a new contract. Do I think he should get a new contract? Look, I know he's going to get a new contract, so I'm comfortable with it. But I actually do think he should get a new contract. I think it should be 2 years. And I think that if he doesn't get backing in the summer and he goes into next season with McFred and Magaluf, I'll probably end up Ollie out by Christmas anyway, because I can't put up with this sort of team selection anymore. I'm happy to put up with it now because I think we've had injuries and I think he didn't get backed in the summer last year. And what I'm hoping is going to happen, and I emphasise the word hope, as somebody who wants Ollie to succeed, and I really desperately do, what I want to happen is we get top 4, we win a trophy, we spend well in the summer, and then next year we really do start to see, in year 3 of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we start to see a vision of how we're going to play and a massive improvement. And a team that when you do go to Anfield or you do go to the Etihad, and we can win those games, and we've not lost those games this season. We've won 1 and drawn 1. But I want Manchester United to go into every game and feel that we have an identity and that we don't have to adapt to the opposition like we seem to do. And look, I'm asking for a lot, but I'm happy for Solskjaer to be given that opportunity next season, because I feel that he will have earned it this season. But if he doesn't get the backing and he goes into next season with the same tendencies as this season, which is Magaluf at the back, McFred in the midfield, a reluctance to change things, an overuse of some players and a total misuse of others, a style of football that's reactionary and not offensive, then I think that, and look, I can see people in the live comments saying, oh, you flip-flop because you're Ollie in and then you say you're going to be Ollie out. I'm not Ollie out at the moment, I'm not, and I've never said that, but I can look into the future and I can tell you now that my patience will run out, like I think some fans will. I don't want that to happen. I'm optimistic that won't happen, but that a lot of that's based on hope, and a lot of it's based on whether this club can actually pull its finger out and back a manager properly when they should have been back last summer. So, but no, I mean, I'm not being negative. I think at the end of the day, if we're playing the same brand of football next season with the same bad selections and the same misuse of players, well, surely that's what football's always been about. A manager gets a certain period of time, and if you don't improve, you get the sack. That's football. I'm not going to lose any tears about that. That's just the way it works. So the challenge, I think, excitingly, the challenge over the next few weeks is to, starting with tomorrow, is to get to the next round of the Europa League, get to the next round of the FA Cup, get top 4, win a trophy, spend well in the summer, and then next season continue this journey. If that doesn't happen, I think Ollie's nearly been in the job, 3 years by the time we get to Christmas? That's enough time for me. Let's see where we are. So I think the next 8 months are really exciting, definitely. Salah says, if we're going to make signings for next season and he still starts with McFred and Magaluf, then I think I will start to doubt Ollie, as that's not progression at all. And Salah, I agree. I think a lot of people will be in the same position as you as well. Thoughts on Chelsea's game tonight, says Shrenthin. I'm watching it. I'm doing a watch along on That's Football for it. And I'm very excited for it because the main reason I'm excited for it is that I want Chelsea to win, because I think Chelsea going into the next round of Europe is good for us anyway. And I think that the best chance of knocking Man City out is PSG, Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Chelsea. I think they're the only 4 that can knock Man City out. So I want Chelsea to go through. But the main reason I want Chelsea to go through is to sit down Daryl from Swindon, who's sitting at home in his Barcelona full kit with Messi on the back, who has got no correlation with Barcelona. And there's plenty of people in England who do this. They're Barcelona and Real Madrid fans. I don't get it. They think La Liga's shines out of it, the sun shines out of his arse. They think La Liga's amazing. Atletico Madrid are the best team in La Liga at the moment. Chelsea are 4th, and I want Chelsea to knock them out and say what I've always known recently, over the last year definitely, the Premier League is the best league in the world. The best league in the world is the Premier League. The best team in the world is Bayern Munich, but the Bundesliga is definitely not the best league in the world. Any update on Woodward moving to London? Says David Page. If you were to choose our transfers this summer, Mark, who would they be? Says Sean Felvey. Please subscribe, by the way. The subscriber counter is working. Bottom right hand corner to do that. Who would I sign? But you're asking me to do something there that's difficult for me because I don't know what the budget is. But as I've said before, I can give you a hypothetical. Declan Rice comes to Manchester United for free because we give them Lingard and Henderson. I've spent nothing. I've just got rid of 2 players, 2 wages that will be soaked up by Declan Rice with a bit to spare. So Declan Rice comes in, Lingard and Henderson go. Koundé comes in for 50 million. I'll bring him in. Happy to do that. Or Varane. One of the 2 is fine. So that I've spent 50 million there. What else do I want? It gets difficult then because I don't really know what I want now, because is Pogba going to stay? Is Pogba going to go? If Pogba's going to go, I get Ronaldo. So I get Ronaldo, but Pogba goes. But then I've got to use Van der Beek, which I think will happen better with Declan Rice in the team. So I've got Ronaldo, Declan Rice and a centre-back, and I've spent 50 million quid. So that's probably my business over, isn't it, really? That's probably it. But I have got a striker. I can use Van der Beek. I've still got Bruno. I've got Declan Rice. You can use McTominay in that midfield as well. Fred, I'm happy with off the bench. I'd love to then go and get a Grealish or a Sancho, but I don't know where that money would come from because I've spent 50 million on my centre-back. So this is the difficulty that you've got in the real world, that even if I did do a Lingard and Henderson swap for Declan Rice, and even if I did spend 50 million on a centre-back and I did swap Pogba for Ronaldo, I've got no money left because United's net spend is not going to be anything more than 60. So it just shows you how difficult it is for Manchester, not for Manchester United. It's not difficult for Manchester United because the Glazers do what they do, but it's difficult to make things happen in a real world. Happy St Patrick's Day, Mark. Have a good one, says Jack Jones. Yeah, I hope you all have a great St Patrick's Day. That just reminds me of something, actually. Please smash a like on the video, by the way. And it does work. It does work. I really want you to check this video out. I've dropped it in the video description. It's why Man City are ruining football. Now, if you care for Manchester United like I do, this debate is really important because it clicks into what we are about as a football club. It clicks into what's going to happen over the next 10 years because Man City and Man United are just going to get further and further apart. Very obviously, because one is about spending money to keep being the best and one is about saving money to try and be top 4. So do watch the video. It's only 10 minutes long. It's a real insight into why Manchester City are ruining football and ultimately why Manchester United are going to fall further and further behind. Check out the video, see what you think about it. Links in the video description, or just go to That's Football through YouTube. I really want as many Man United fans as possible to watch it because I think it will open up your eyes to the situation. I'm not saying you haven't woken up, but just check the video. Links in the video description. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like to this video. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you check that video. Link in the video description. We'll be back at lunchtime for Ollie's presser.